Tuesday, everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, May 12th, 2024. Oh my goodness. Victor is going to weaponize Jordan against Jack for risking his life to save Nikki's life. That is brilliant. It's demented, but also it's brilliant. It's brilliant in a demented way. Really, I think Victor and Jordan are each other's perfect match. Why haven't they ever dated? They could be a real hot new Genoa City power couple, Victor and Jordan. Oh my goodness. Here, I thought the biggest story of the week was going to be that roll of toilet paper in Jordan's cell. Because I saw a couple of comments early in the week mentioning that Jordan had no bathroom in her prison cell, and that gave me a real chuckle. I was laughing about that. But then as the week progressed, I happened to see in the background of the scene a roll of toilet paper sitting on top of a little toilet. And I became really impressed with that. I don't know about you. Because I was totally prepared to make some really good jokes about where Jordan was going potty. But Y&R and Victor really thought of everything here. It's covered. No worries. No need to question. Victor also thought of setting up a little chessboard down there outside of Jordan's cell. You know, because Victor likes to play with himself. Chess. He likes to play chess with himself, and he couldn't bear to go a couple of moments without having his chessboard right beside him. Oh, it is fun and games, isn't it? I think to Victor it certainly is. Victor also presented Jordan this week with Nikki's weakness, which I thought was interesting. He set a big honkin' bottle of vodka right outside her cell where she could reach it. And he told her, well, if you're so unhappy in here, then why don't you just go ahead and drink yourself to death in my dank, dark little prison in the basement. And I thought, well, this isn't really Jordan's poison, so I was kind of surprised about that. And she even said something to him about, well, why don't you just ask me what my poison was? And I was so curious about what that would be. But I guess it turned out to be more interesting to find out what her real weakness is. Not what her preference for the poison is, but what her weakness was. She needed, turns out, the bottle of booze to help her get over the fear of the spiders that are crawling around down there in Victor's basement. That's crazy. Jordan, one of Y&R's biggest, baddest, sickest villains of all time, is afraid of a little spider? That really caught me off guard. I mean, I guess everyone is afraid of something. Everyone has a weakness. It's just a matter of finding it. And now we all know what Jack's weakness is. And so I'm sure that Jordan will be more than happy to strike a deal with Victor to exploit Jack's weakness, because at this point she is so broken, she would do anything to get out of Victor's homemade DIY prison cell. Who is in the worst prison? Jordan or Connor? Victor is spooking Jordan with spiders and booze, but there's some faceless doctor spooking Connor with unwashed hands. Ugh. Yes, Chelsea and Adam, please do go visit Connor. Can you please also take him a care package from me? Guess what? It's a cake with a hacksaw baked inside, because all I want to do is bust this child out of there and, I don't know, take him on a road trip or something. I think that's what he needs, some time on the open road with Aunt Allie. I feel so passionate about this. I feel like I may just need to have some free Connor t-shirts printed up or something, like with Connor's face on the front and then free Connor on it in black and white. I mean, I appreciate Adam and Chelsea having their respective partners right there supporting them through this difficult diagnosis for their child. And I heard what Sally said to Adam this week, that it is legit for him to have all kinds of his own feelings around this. But as a viewer, I am just not moved. There are far better ways to use a kid to gain my interest, and I'm about to give you 6 of them. So this week, on the heels of my extreme dissatisfaction with Connor's storyline, I went back into the Y&R Chat vaults, and I found some soap kid storylines that actually were entertaining. I compiled 6 of my favorite soap kid storylines into a brand new, over an hour long Y&R Chat Flashback Special private podcast episode that replays 6 classic Allie's Y&R Chat rants with all new commentary around it that I just recorded this week. Oh. Hold on to your seat, because I am going to take you on a school bus ride to hell. Here's a preview.
Hey, everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to Soap Kids Are Screwy.
There is something wrong with this child. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. And then the little psycho can't leave it alone. Maybe it's time to crack the whip. Yeah, that always works. Lying all contorted on the ground below, looking like his neck is broken. But he's also a 16-year-old boy. And you know what they're motivated by? She's just like her mother. She's just like her mother. Oh yeah, and decides to steal some money out of Lauren's wallet, too. She wanders out into the street and kaplowy. Then next thing we know, he's trying to score pills at the back of Crimson Lights, and now meth? He goes up, lays the tripwire, she falls. When no one's looking, he runs back up the stairs to destroy the evidence.
And then when she's done with that, she steals a work truck off the ranch and goes for a high-speed drive, all with this bottle of vodka by her side.
I cannot believe that actually happened.
Connor locked little Christian all alone inside of Nick's deep, dark, scary garage because Connor said that Christian was being whiny. Soap Kids Are Screwy, a Y&R Chat Flashback Special. It's available now at GenoaCitySoap.com. Isn't that so good?
good. And that is just a taste. Let me tell you, the full finished podcast is really an awesome trip down memory lane, especially for me. It was like, Allie, welcome to your life. Oh my goodness. I really had a lot of fun digging up all of those old stories. I went all the way back too. I started out in 2018 with Reed, Victoria's son, running over Nikki with his car. That was a nice Christmas. I went back to 2012, which I think was the oldest one, when Summer became Y&R's first cyberbully. That was kind of a new thing for the show. And then in 2013, Fenn came to the forefront of Y&R, and he had all kinds of drama. I mean, he was this creepy son of Michael and Lauren. He was a creeper and a tweaker, eventually getting into drugs. But my personal favorite creepy kid storyline was back in 2016 when Max Rayburn, Stitch's son, tripped Abby on purpose and caused her to fall down the stairs and have a miscarriage. Ugh. Then also, not even that long ago, I went back to 2021 and found the time that Faith stole the ranch truck and crashed it. And then, oh yeah, the one that I think we all know and all think of, because it wasn't that long ago, back in 2019, the legendary incident when Connor locked Christian in the garage. I mean, all of these stories are so memorable. They're so good. I found myself laughing a lot, especially through the process of kind of creating, like DJ. I kind of was a DJ around these old Y&R chats. So, I mean, I think you guys are going to enjoy it a lot too. $5 gets you that episode, and every dime of that money goes back into Y&R Chat and all of the web hosting fees that it takes to store the website and the podcast and the videos. All of it goes back to Y&R Chat. Soap Kids Are Screwy, an exclusive Y&R Chat Flashback Special episode with all new commentary. You get the private video link for YouTube. You get the private RSS feed for your podcast app. Get it? You know you're going to laugh. You know you're going to have a good time. GenoaCitySoap.com. You can order it and download it at GenoaCitySoap.com. This week, Summer walks in on Kyle and Claire ducking right in front of Harrison, just ducking their little hearts out. They had the P's and the O's and everything. Oh. Let the drama begin. I love this. I love this so much. Summer does not want Claire anywhere near Harrison. And I don't blame her one bit. I am glad that Summer is putting her foot down here. 2 months out of the psych ward and 2 days out of being trapped under a dead woman in a storage locker does not a good babysitter make. Surprised I have to defend that point of view. On the other hand, though, good drama it does make, because I really am totally loving this. This is the most exciting story for me this week. Summer is looking jealous. She is looking overprotective. Somehow in this world, Summer is looking jealous and overprotective for not wanting this former psycho to be watching her kid. I mean, but it's so great because it really does paint Summer. I mean, either way, you're either totally sympathetic with Summer and you see her point completely, or you're looking at Summer like she's the lunatic. I mean, even Phyllis is telling Summer to let this go. That should tell you something. When Phyllis is telling you that you might be overreacting, and when Phyllis is willing to talk to Diane about it, then, I don't know, you might want to take note. But this is great because I can just see the whole thing right now. Kyle falling deeper and deeper in love with Claire. He understands her. He gets it. So what if she was brainwashed into poisoning 5 members of her family? It was 2 months ago. It's practically ancient history. And besides, she is just not that person anymore. You guys. But I can just see it all unfolding before me. Summer continues to protest Claire being anywhere around Harrison. Kyle maybe sees Summer's point of view a little bit, and so he feels like he has to choose between his son and his new love, which I think is a great, great obstacle here. Because who knows how far Summer is willing to take it. Kyle, and Summer might end up needing to fight for custody of Harrison. Kyle may need to find himself just asking himself if Claire is worth fighting for. I just think, wouldn't a Summer and Kyle Summer custody battle be the perfect time to bring back Harrison's 4th other parent, the Wicked Witch Tara Locke? I mean, I could really see all kinds of juicy drama going on here in the near future. Because if we are losing bad girl Claire forever, and that's what it's looking like to me, that Claire is now slated to become Genoa City's sweetheart baby bunny girl, then I think, it's just, we're going to need a real lunatic in this story to help retch things up a couple of notches. Victoria and Cole are fighting hard to give their little baby bird a chance to fly the nest and become Harrison's nanny. They go to Victor about it to see if maybe Victor can smooth things over with Summer. But Victor doesn't want Claire anywhere near the Abbott house because he knows that he's just about ready to rain down some hell upon the Abbotts. Oh my goodness. Diane. 2 months ago, you had the perfect life. Married to Prince Charming, Queen of Jabot, and now it's all blurred into this drug and drama haze. As far as I'm concerned, Diane said everything that she needed to say this week to Jack, and she said it perfectly. I mean, I love these two together, and it is so clear that they love each other. But Jack made a reckless and thoughtless decision. He risked not only his sobriety, but his life. And he didn't even think about the fact that he could have died. And that Diane could have been waking up the next morning to the news that her husband was gone. If Nikki and Jack would have passed out at the same time, there would have been no call to the paramedics. And Jack would be dead, done. I really cannot even believe that Kyle dared to defend Jack's decision to Diane. I completely think that Kyle was more interested in disagreeing with Diane than agreeing with Jack, because anyone in your right mind would tell you that Jack and what he did was dangerous, really reckless. Frankly, I think that Diane is doing a pretty darn good job of controlling her anger because she has a right to be furious. I don't blame her one bit for choosing to get some distance from it, to move out for a couple of weeks, just to be able to wrap her brain around this new reality that Jack has just dumped on her. Oh, my husband just decided to do drugs. Great. Jack did his best to defend himself and to try to alleviate the situation because deep down I think Jack feels like, phew, okay, the plan worked. Nikki is in rehab, and so that makes everything all right. Right? I mean, my heart was in the right place, so don't forget that. I also think that Jack really believes that he is capable of doing the drugs just once and then not having any trouble doing it again. Because he said, I knew I could do it and come back from it. But, I mean, if I don't know. If we had not seen that evil glint in Victor's eye at the tail end of Friday's episode, then I would say, I don't know if Jack's going to be able to pull it off. Maybe, maybe not. But now the path is so very clear. Jack probably is capable of coming back from this on his own, but Victor is going to use Jordan to make sure that Jack gets hooked back up on those pills. So, look out, Jack Abbott, because your life is about to be destroyed. When is Ashley going to go ahead and try to kill Tucker already? I'm just waiting for it to happen. I mean, look at him. Look at Tucker standing there with his big blue eyes and his hang-dong head. I mean, this is a man who is ready to be attempted murdered. He's too cute right now. He's being all perfect right now. We have to attempt to murder him, Ashley. He's also being extra cute with Audra. Aww, Paris. Or wherever in the world she wants to go. Never mind those doubts that Nate tried to put into Audra's head, because he probably just wants to sleep with her himself even though he denied it. Now, all of this adds up to doom, if you ask me. And I'm ready for it. I have enjoyed the Ashley personality stuff, but I think I'm ready for the action. Ashley had another transformation this week. So we mostly seem to be now flipping back and forth between the she-devil Ashley and the Southern Belle Ashley. At the beginning of the week, the she-devil Ashley had a very chilly meeting with the doctor, Alan, and she was trying to send him packing, just get him out of the way. But I guess the sheer power of Belle's lust allowed her to break on through and try once again to convince him to stay. She's definitely toned down the Southern Belle part of it. We hit peak Southern Belle already, and now she's leveling out, even though the two personalities are distinct. And I mean, you'd have to be a fool to not see it. That doctor would have to be a fool to not see it. I feel kind of sorry for him, for Alan. Alan doesn't stand a chance. No way, no way. Born to die, if you ask me. There's no way. I mean, we know She-Devil Ashley is planning Tucker's murder, and then this random guy comes into the picture. No, I think She-Devil Ashley is going to take over one last time, try to enact her plan. She's going to aim for Tucker, and she's going to hit Alan instead. She's going to send Alan to heaven to a nice white bed right next to Seth. Mamie Johnson, you are amazing. You are something else. I love you. Mamie is like a soothsayer coming down from the mountaintop once every full moon to warn the townspeople that the sky is falling. Mamie has a vendetta against Jill, and she wants to have the last laugh. Good! I hope Mamie gets it. If it's a Jill versus Mamie battle royale, put me down right now for Team Mamie. But at the same time, I can admit the truth that Mamie wasn't complaining about Jill when she was cashing Jill's $1 million check. Mamie took that $1 million, she turned it into a fortune, and now she's back in town not only to rub her success in Jill's face, but then to take a company away from Jill the way that Jill took John away from her. Truth. Mamie called a meeting this week to try to get the Winters crew on board with a hostile takeover. And the family was not buying what she was selling. They said, wait a minute. You want to talk about problems at Chancellor Winters? We didn't have any problems until you got here. Harsh. It was harsh. It was kind of hard to watch, honestly, because they weren't real nice about it. Even Devon shut her down, with all due respect, of course. But, I mean, Devon's the one who's got the biggest beef here, and even he was harsh with her. It was kind of shocking. But I think that the biggest shocker was in the previews, because it seems like next week the cousins are meeting with each other and agreeing that what Mamie did was totally unacceptable and they need to get with Jill and tell Jill and do something about it. I mean, I get it. Mamie really has no material participation in this company. She doesn't really do any work there. She's an investor. And then she just kind of floats down from the mountaintop every so often to criticize. So are they going to try just to buy Mamie out? Or are they going to try to throw her out? People tell me I'm pretty good at getting what I want. If I would have said the quote that way, everybody would have guessed it. Yeah, it was Ashley. Ashley was the quote last week. She was talking to the doctor trying to convince him to stay in town and said, well, people tell me I'm pretty good at getting what I want. I liked that. Well, congratulations, Ron, Hannah, Daisy, Justin, Dolores, Henry, Brittany, Tommy, and Tanya. You guys all got it. Here's a tough one. I think it's tough, but it's true. You learn something new every day. Who said it? You learn something new every day. If you think that you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, then I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. Happy birthday! Who said it? Answer is me, Allie. Happy birthday, Sherry! Yay! I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful birthday today on Mother's Day. Oh my goodness, so a double birthday Mother's Day celebration. I hope it's wonderful and lovely for you. Oh, let's get to some comments. I like this from Gary, who says simply, Aunt Mamie is a dragon. Gary, I don't know know why, but it's the perfect description. I mean, I wouldn't have seen it if not for that last scene, but in that last scene, she looked like she should have had a long tongue and like a tail and some scales and like spitting, breathing fire. She was a dragon. I gotta agree with you there. Sue W. also says, you nailed it. She's a dragon and she's no puff. Sue W. also says, I prefer the Maime of yore. Today's acerbic version has sullied her memory for me. This character is fine, but I'd have an easier time accepting her righteousness if she had blown into town as Maime's sister or some other relation. I feel like Maime has lost the class she once had. Ooh, okay. Yeah, she definitely used to be she's proud and kind of dignified. Sherrod says, I don't feel she's lost any class. She was subservient to those in the past. But now she has returned with brass and sass and ready to kick some ass. Bravo. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I just like Maime, and I think I think it's more interesting this way than if she were just coming in to give everybody the wisdom. But I mean, she really threw a full-on tantrum. She was an adult woman throwing a full-on tantrum when everybody didn't just get on board with what she was saying. But I can understand why she was being defensive, because the kids were really, I mean, it was borderline disrespectful, if not disrespectful, but maybe that kids feel like they've tried really hard to be respectful and tell her no, and she wasn't listening. But see, I think all of this is just interesting. It creates interesting conversation, and more interesting than if Maime had come back into town and was more in like a Tracy role where she's supporting and trying to be loving to everybody. This gives drama to the Winters family. We can't forget that if it wasn't for Maime, the Winters wouldn't have had anything to argue about this week. Sharon W. says, Abby and Devon are way too mean to Tucker. Stop it already. He only wants to be in Dom's life. That's a good thing. Just let Tucker see Dom with supervision. Divorced spouses are also required to do that sometimes. You know what? That's the key right there, because I can understand them not wanting to. They have a right to say, no, I don't want you in our kid's life because my kid is young and impressionable, and I'm not going to let you use him to manipulate to get into our lives. Like, if that's how they feel, that's fine. But I think it's a good idea to maybe just let him do it with supervision, because at the end of the day, I mean, doesn't Dom also have a right to know his grandfather and to make his own decisions about him? So with supervision seems like it would be a really good compromise. Sharon W. also says, I gotta love Tucker. He is offering Audra the world, or at least Paris, or any other location she wants to go with him. And as he continues to pursue her, she plays hard to get. I still like the back and forth between them, but want to see some movement forward. Let's have a trip to Paris. Let's get going. I'm tired of them living in a hotel room that has lost its seduction for the viewers. Tucker, before you two leave on your trip, just go out and buy her a little rose-covered cottage. Doesn't have to be a mansion like Victor or Jack live in, just something to call her own. Oh, Tucker needs a house. Yes, we need a new set for Tucker. Some characters, I totally appreciate that, we're using the hotel rooms. I know not everybody can have a house. I just feel like Tucker's worthy of a house. And I'm still feeling the magic between them as well. But Sue W. says, I'm still having a hard time caring about Audra's feelings. The actress is great, and I'm always engaged watching her. But the character rings empty to me. Audra, we hardly knew ye. For me, Audra consists of mutterings about an alcoholic father, a business skill. Okay, to be fair, who knows what any of the GC whizzes actually do. But also sexiness to the nth degree, and all of that rolled into an unclear background and a slimy love-hate weirdness, some call it love, with Tucker. What was all the drama in her supposed long-term serious relationship with Noah back when she was supposedly an artist? Who was her true love then? Audra is just a jumbled up mess of randomness that doesn't catch my interest past her surface. I best enjoy her stirring up trouble and being the town bicycle. Credit, of course, to whichever Ashley persona for that gem. I think these are very fair points, Sue W. You're right. Audra's history is a pretty big jumbled up mess. She had the whole thing with Noah, which I guess the problem with them was the fact that she got pregnant and then she miscarried or something like that. I want to say that's what their problem was. But yeah, I mean, maybe I could see that we don't really know that much about Audra. She's not very much connected to anybody else in Genoa City besides Tucker. So maybe it's that Audra doesn't feel like she's got roots. I think it's a fair point. Tony says, I still think that Audra won't agree to marry Tucker because she already is married out there to someone. Oh, Tony, this is fantastic. The idea that the whole reason that Audra is throwing up so much resistance to marrying Tucker is because she's already married. That's good. Well, let's talk about Ms. Ashley here. Gary says, Ashley's mental health issues are boring me as the unpredictable becomes predictable. When does Nikki get back from rehab? I feel like she's been gone forever. It's only been a couple days. She needs the rest, Gary. But Diana says, I agree that it seems a little hard to swallow that Ashley's relationship with Tucker is what pushed her over the edge. It only makes sense if the show incorporates her previous mental health issues that they've not acknowledged other than the mental breakdown she had when she lost her baby. Yeah, I mean, she had the car accident, right? Maybe that jostled something loose. But I think that's a pretty good point, too, that maybe everything that's gone on with Ashley is so severe and maybe feels not fully provoked or like, okay, how'd we get here? Especially if, as Diana says, they're not really addressing her past mental issues. Maybe some flashbacks would be good because Eileen Davidson was playing the role, I'm pretty sure, when she miscarried and had the break from reality. So yeah, we haven't really gotten much of that included. Naomi also says, I'm not a fan of this storyline. It smacks of a vanity project for Eileen Davidson to showcase her talents and have an entry for Daytime Emmy. She's a beautiful woman and is playing her parts for maximum impact, but all I see is an aging actress who somehow has shaved at least 20 years off her appearance. Maybe she's being filmed with a filter applied. We all look better in pictures after some careful editing, but anyway, Eileen's doing a great job. Unfortunately, I've lost interest. You know, she does look amazing. That is the one thing. It's like, especially in those white scenes, I don't know what they're doing, but yeah, I mean, the styling around her, the extra styling, the way she pulls down her hair and flips it around when she becomes Belle, and the way she just was like looking at her fingernails and looking in the mirror in the Abbott living room when she was talking to Jack, like all those things. I mean, vanity project is probably a really good descriptor for what this is, because it really is showcasing how beautiful and talented Eileen Davidson is. But maybe we're pushing the boundaries of it, of where the story itself is. Connie says, I am enjoying this storyline, and I must confess, I can't wait to see which Ashley shows up. Southern Belle Ashley has the best zingers that make me laugh. I think the harsh criticism about Eileen Davidson is unfair because I see her and Melody Thomas Scott as excellent actresses that are beautiful, women that are aging with class and dignity, as well as being potential Emmy nominees for their performances. Ooh, yes, yes. I mean, where else on television can you see two amazing women who have this history with the show where we can look back and see how they've grown as actresses. Yeah, it's incredible. It really is. Sharon W. says, I loved Ashley's transformation while speaking to Alan on the phone in Jack's living room. She was urging him to leave town at first, but when Southern Ashley came out, she was asking him to stay. Then when she threw her phone on the sofa, she seductively rubbed her beautiful purple dress and yelled out that it felt so good to be free. I really couldn't stop laughing. Speaking about her other personalities, she said that they were all going to be so grateful. And after tussling her hair, I couldn't help but notice her glancing at herself in the fireplace mirror. Yeah, I mean, maybe the consensus on what's going on with Ashley is that the storyline has its moments of entertainment, but maybe that's more what it's all about. Moments of entertainment, not an amazing, sensical plot. Maybe that's a good place to check in for a poll question this week. Do you like the Ashley triple personality storyline? Are you wanting more of it? Or is it time to pull it back and move on to something else? Are you tired of it yet? Were you ever loving it? YRChat.com. Let's talk a little bit about that this week. And now let's talk about Diane. Sharon W. says, sorry to say, I've not always been Diane's biggest fan. For many months, I could not be convinced that she could be trusted. But on Monday, when Jack was relating his story to Diane about drinking and taking pills while helping Nikki, I could see all the emotions Diane was feeling at once. She showed shock, concern, anger, and fear all at the same time. She looked so fearful that she could have lost Jack without ever knowing why Jack would take a chance at losing his wife, his son, his grandson, and his life. I trust you now, Diane. Your amazing acting convinced me. She was so good. And that's what I was waiting for. I knew it was going to be so good because all the drama with Jack and Nikki last week was incredible, and I knew that Diane was going to give me the cherry on top of that cake, and she did. She did not disappoint. Daisy says, I actually agree with Diane. It makes no sense that Jack would put his life in harm's way. Nikki is responsible for her own behavior, and his dying would have just given her another reason to drink. Also, Jack could have called Victor or even Nick. He did not have to risk his life. So maybe Diane will get him to realize how dangerous what he did was and how it has affected her. Hopefully he will, as not just doing so might be what pushes Diane away for good. I hope not. I hope this isn't the end of Jack and Diane. I do really like them together, but I agree. I agree with Diane. Well, new topic. Let's talk about our villain du jour. Victoria says, when Aunt Jordan took a swat at Victor through her jail bars, it just showed us that she still has a lot of life left in her and a lot of anger. Best part of the scene was when Victor swatted back. Yes, that was such a small moment that added a lot to that scene. And it really also presented Jordan as like a caged animal. It really ratcheted up. That was just one moment of her swiping at him and him swiping at her, and that was really good. By the way, there's no way that this will not backfire on Victor, because Victor's gonna let her out thinking that she's gonna go do his bidding toward Jack, letting a lunatic loose on Jack. But Jordan will backstab Victor. Jordan will escape, and that means that Victor will have had her and lost her, and then he will have to deal with the consequences of that. Well, Diana found it a little hypocritical and almost comical when Phyllis and Summer were talking about how Phyllis doesn't compare to Claire because Phyllis didn't try to kill 5 people and watch them die. No, Phyllis did not. She only tried to kill 2 people and watch them die. Remember Christine and Paul and your car, Phyllis? It doesn't make you that different. We could even add Jeremy Stark, as we don't really know if Phyllis had to use self-defense, as she claims. Diana, yes. I mean, isn't this what we were all thinking? Yes. I totally thought to myself, Paul and Christine, you tried to run them over with a car. And I thought of the Jeremy Stark thing too. I mean, she killed him with scissors. So that's pretty brutal. Sharon W. says, tender, emotional, and reflective dialogue on Monday between Phyllis and Nick. I have forgotten a lot of the story when Summer had eaten the peanuts years ago. I had forgotten how ill she was and how dire her situation had been. The emotion shown by Phyllis and the appreciation that Nick showed to her about how well she took care of Summer was a tender moment between them. Nick looked lovingly toward Phyllis when he started recalling how much time and effort Phyllis had given to their only daughter. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, and it was at the hands of a villain, Patty. So, maybe Phyllis is kind of projecting here. That was maybe setting up some of Phyllis's overprotectiveness. And I also think that we're going to see a Phyllis, Nick, Sharon triangle again soon when they get around to it. Well, last week I asked you guys, do you trust Claire? I'm kind of surprised, but the overwhelming majority, 74% of you voted, yes, we trust Claire. Henry says, she's become one of my favorite characters on the show. In my opinion, she is an outstanding actress. Her role is 1,000% believable in my opinion. I don't believe she was brought on to the cast to be looked upon as deceitful. My hope is that she remains on the show for a long time because there's so much more to be explored. She has to meet her siblings, even Reed, hopefully. There will probably be another face-to-face with Jordan, and Summer has to get a grip and realize that Claire isn't going anywhere. Lastly, I envision a romantic involvement with Claire and Kyle. Yes, Claire is for real, in my humble opinion. I know, so ironic too that Victoria was mentioning introducing Claire to Reed when I was thinking a lot about Reed this week and how he ran over Nikki with the car. And I was looking back at some of the photos of Reed too, and he was a very studly young man. he was a real cutie. And yeah, so I was thought, oh man, is there any chance that Y&R be bringing? Because Victoria keeps saying the kids are coming home for the summer, so maybe Johnny and Katie will be back. Does that include Reed? I don't know. But yeah, as far as trusting Claire, Tony voted no. After 25 years of brainwashing, she just fell immediately into a loving family and is a good person. No scars, no ill effects, no underlooking personality of revenge. No. Yeah. Well, T. Nicole says, I would normally feel frustrated at Summer for being so harsh with her attitude toward Claire, given that she was wrong about Claire taking Harrison. But honestly, as a mom, I don't entirely blame her. Regardless that Claire is family by blood, she is still a stranger to Summer and Harrison. And Summer is allowed to feel hesitant about Claire being around Harrison. I can also see that Summer could feel some jealousy that Harrison feels this automatic bond to Claire. And Summer wants to be that person in Harrison's life. She wants to be that person. She wants to be that person in Harrison's life. Summer's no longer living at the Abbott Mansion with Harrison. And with him being kidnapped, there's a lot to just say, here's a new cousin that I really don't know and expect that you helped poison my family. Please take care and be alone with my son. Yes, very reasonable as a new mom, T. Nicole. Yeah, and Sue W. says, in my opinion, Summer was 100% not right, or was 100% right to not have approved of Harrison being left alone with Claire back when they were kidnapped. No matter Summer having been wrong about the kidnapping or whatever has transpired, no small children or babies should be alone with a traumatized but recently magically healed mental case. Oops, I mean ex-mental case. Mothers always err on the side of caution, so bravo, Summer. Incidentally, as a viewer, I do believe the lovely Claire as being healed from the trauma and trustworthy with children. But as a mother, no, never, would never have left her alone with my child, unfounded fears or not. And I think you're right too, Sue W., that there's no way that she should have been up in Harrison's room alone with him at night reading the book when we don't know him. So yeah, I agree. I think I got no problem with Summer's reaction here. Naomi says I agree. Why would either parent just turn the kid over to a virtual stranger for daycare or whatever nannies do? I guess I'm paranoid, a worrywart, but I would want to know a person well before allowing them any alone time with my vulnerable family members. Naomi, this is exactly my point about Connor, too. Why hand him over to do the work? Handing him over to somebody else to do the work that the parents should have done in the first place. And okay, all right, fine, you didn't do it in the first place. Whatever, parents mess up, children get messed up. We have our own, parents have their own lives and their own responsibilities. But okay, let's at least take responsibility for it now. Adam and Chelsea, go get your kid, bring him home, and help him. Take him to local therapy. Just giving him over to somebody else is not going to solve the problem. Ugh, except it will, because it's a soap. But I digress. Sherrod says, I am not a great fan of Summer, but she has the legal rights to Harrison, not to mention an emotional connection. I feel the viewers forgot that when Kyle and Summer, played by Hunter King, were off canvas in Italy and got married, that Summer became his legal guardian. Yeah, Sherrod, yeah, I totally agree. Summer is his mom. And you want to know how I know that Summer is Harrison's mom? Because if you ask Harrison who his mom is, he's going to point to Summer. That's how I know. Well, Brent says, subconsciously, Summer might be against Claire in part because she sees how smitten Kyle is with her. I know she's got Chance now, but she can't control her heart. Yeah, totally, Brent. And Diana says, I said this a few weeks ago, Summer must feel some jealousy toward Claire. Her ex-husband and her son have such a liking toward Claire, and to top it off, she is or was a psycho. I would not trust her for a second. Summer has every right to feel the way she does. Yeah, I think it's both. I think it can be both, that Summer doesn't trust Claire because, psycho. Potential psychosis, which anyone in some world could have at any time. But I think it's true that Summer can not trust Claire because of her past very recent mental health histories. And she can also not trust Claire because she feels a little jealous. Yeah, suddenly this girl's everywhere, including wanting to get close to her son. I get it, and I'm actually kind of surprised that as many chatters get it or agree with that. I really expected the majority of comments this week to be like, Summer, whatever, cool down, Claire's fine. But it really seems like for the most part, people are understanding at least where Summer's coming from. Also, Diana says, okay, in total, Claire and Harrison have spent all of 5 minutes together, and he can't seem to get enough of her. I work with children every day, and they are very smart. They love you when you put the time and energy in. When did Claire and Harrison form this strong bond that the show is portraying? There needed to be more of a build-up in order for this to ring true. We saw Claire and Harrison hanging out together on multiple occasions. If that had happened, it would be more believable. I feel this needs to be addressed, as this is clearly a storyline that we're supposed to invest in without the bond being established, which is key. Yeah, I know. That part does come off as a little cheesy and a little forced, like how much Harrison loves Claire. I think maybe that could have had a slower build or just done some more emotional work around that first. Y&R doesn't do any emotional work around kids. It's just, I don't know, for some reason, soap kids, they're screwy. Somebody very wise once said that. Finally, Daisy says, did they ever say who that woman was on Claire's big toe and how she died? That would be a good investigation for Phyllis. Finding out who that woman was might lead Phyllis to the actual truth about Claire and maybe even, unbeknownst to her, protect her daughter. I like that idea, Daisy, because yeah, Phyllis has been talking a big game here. I mean, Phyllis was telling Nick several weeks ago that she wanted to be the one to take care of Jordan herself. And then Phyllis was introducing herself to Claire as Harrison's very overprotective grandmother. So, yeah, I mean, if there is anything to be found out about Claire here, maybe Phyllis will be the one to do it. Okay, everybody. I think that does it for me for this week, for this Mother's Day. Oh, I hope all of the moms out there are having a wonderful day. Maybe that's why we're all really empathizing with Summer. All the moms we're extra moms today. We're moms every day, but today is extra. And so we're all extra tuning in with Summer and her maternal instincts. Well, I hope you all do have a wonderful day. Hey, stop by yrchat.com. Leave me your comments about Y&R, but let me know what you're doing today for Mother's Day as well. I'd love to hear that. Maybe you're listening to Soap Kids Are Screwy, because I think that's also the perfect topic for Mother's Day. Maybe it'll make us all feel better about what great mothers we are if we listen to the podcast and how screwy soap kids are. That's the measure by which I measure my own parenting skills. I just compare soap kids to my kids, and I go, oh, well, obviously I'm a better mother because my kid didn't set a tripwire and cause someone to fall and have a miscarriage. So at least I'm doing okay there. That's funny. Okay, well, so, yes, again, Genoa City Soap is the website where you can get the special podcast. YRChat.com is the place where you can leave all your comments about the show, the chat, and everything going on this week. And then here is where you can come back to next week, and we will talk about all of this again. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye.